All right, now is our time where we get to close our eyes and take a deep breath and get into preparation for our meditation time. I invite you to take things out of your lap if you can and put your feet firmly on the floor. Get yourself grounded into the beautiful Mother Earth. Just breathing in and breathing out. Just allow your body to relax and be fully present in this moment. There's no place we have to be, nothing we have to do right now. I invite you to see that breath going in and out of your heart space. Just imagine it as you're breathing in through your heart space. A lovely pink light just grows and grows and grows. That pink light you're breathing in, the love, and you're breathing out anything that no longer serves you. And with every breath you take, that pink light expands more and more until it's completely filling your body. And with your next breath in, see it expand all the way to the top of your head, to your crown chakra. We are grounded in the love of God that we are. So now I invite you to think of the ones in your life who were maternal to you. It doesn't have to be just your mom. It could be an aunt or a grandmother, a teacher, perhaps a guru, someone in your life that helped you to realize the love that you are. And as you have them pictured in your mind's eye, send that pink love light that you have gathered in your heart space and send it out to each and every one of these beings. Some of them are here with us in the physical, and some have stepped into spirit. But there is no separation between us and the love of God, and so that connection is eternal. That love that we have, the love that we share. And so I invite you now in a moment of silence to just see these ones that you are sending your love to with a smile on their face, and feel the love they are still sharing with you in the silence. That love is the greatest gift, the greatest way that we can share with anyone, all of those around us. Love is the healing harmonizer of all things, and there is nothing that enough love cannot heal. It doesn't really matter what the past has been for us, because by now it's just a story in our minds, and so we can see it. See those things filled with love. So we realize that everyone that comes into our lives comes for a reason. Perhaps they come for a season. But we are all here learning love lessons together. And so as we begin to bring our focus back into the room, I invite you to feel that love once again in your heart. And know that that's the real reason that you're here. That's the only reason that you're here. It's to be the love that you came to be. My granddaughter knows that that's the truth. It is, baby girl. And so now we bring our focus back into the room, and whenever you're ready, just open your beautiful eyes. 14 and almost 5 months.
What a blessed, blessed day we have celebrating Mother's Day today. Yes, and Grandmother's Day too, right?
Grandmother's Day as well. Yes. So I want to start out by telling you a little story. There was a researcher, a scientist at the University of Wisconsin, and he was trying to help little stray baby animals that weren't surviving well. And he designed this study where he created this sort of like substitute mom. He created this wire gadget, and he covered it with terry cloth, and he stuck a bottle in the wire with milk in it, and then he had this lamp there to create the warmth, and the babies continued to die. The little creatures, the little animals that they were trying to save, continued to die. And then they just realized, there's no one there loving on these little critters. There's no mother love present there. You cannot create love out of a wire gadget. It just doesn't work. And so at some point in your life, in each and every one of your lives, someone held you in their arms and looked you in the eyes, and you felt love. You knew what love was. You knew what it is. It's happened to all of us at one time or another, and you know how special it is. You know how much it matters in our lives. It doesn't matter who it was, whether it was your natural mom or a stepmom or some other relative or a friend, perhaps. But you felt that love, and you know that you are here today because someone taught you how to love. Someone taught you the importance of it. Someone helped you learn that you are love in expression. So this whole month we are looking at friendship as our May theme, and also we're talking a lot about relationships. It's the year of grace and gratitude. And our affirmation that we want to say together is, I am a friend to all I meet. Isn't that our goal? To be that love for everyone, no matter who comes into our sphere of influence. We want to be that. That's our goal. Well, what relationship is better to focus on today than on our moms? So I want to say that as we celebrate Mother's Day, I want to pay tribute to Myrtle Fillmore, who I consider to be Mother of Unity, co-founder with her husband Charles. Myrtle's writings are just, Myrtle didn't write. She said she wrote letters. She didn't write books. That was kind of Charles's job. But she wrote a lot of advice to people who wrote to Unity for prayers and for help and for for ideas for how to solve the issues in their lives. And so they took her writings and put it in this book, How to Let God Help You. And she says this, and I want you to hear these words. It is up to you to accept your God-given perfection for yourself. Put aside the past mistakes and untrue suggestions and fix your undivided attention upon the Creator of your inner pattern of perfection. Your inner pattern of perfection. This is the secret of success in all spiritual treatments. You must bring all of your mental attitudes, the centers of your consciousness, and even your physical structures to this high place in divine mind where you see as God sees. Where you see as God sees. Do you feel the power in her words? She is a perfect example to me of divine feminine energy. The divine feminine is receptive and it's a nurturing energy. It is this energy that is always expressing through creation. And we are all creating all the time. We all have that. We are all both made of maternal instincts because we are all creating all the time. So let's all take this legacy of Myrtle Fillmore and claim this truth that she has for us, that we are God expressing, that we are divine, that we are worthy, and we live that truth every moment of every day, and then we will make Myrtle's legacy our own. There's a wonderful book out by Byron Katie. Grant and I talk a lot about her work. She does amazing, amazing work. She has this book called I Need Your Love. Is that true? When we know who we are as divine beings, it's not necessary for us to seek the approval on the outside of us. Katie says, once we unravel the knots in our search for love, approval, and appreciation, we become in charge of our own happiness. She helps us question our minds until we can see things are not what they seem to be. We know this about the relative truth because we know what we see in the relative world is changing constantly. But the absolute of us, the truth, the honest to goodness truth of us is that God is all there is in any moment, any time. Everything changes. So, we've been thinking a lot about our moms, and I don't usually dream about my mom, but Friday night I had a dream about my mom, and it was very sweet. She was like 92 when she left the planet in 2021 of COVID, and so we had her for a really long time. This dream was about us having like a little mini reunion back in Texas. It was kind of sweet. There was a lot of hugs going on and a lot of people smiling. That's really all I can remember is seeing her and hugging the rest of the people that were around at the time. But my mom and I, just like a lot of mother-daughter relationships, they're kind of up and down. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good. Some of you were blessed to have fabulous relationships throughout your entire life, and we kind of had some ups and downs in my growing up time. But one of the things I really loved about my mom is that she always exposed me as a child early on to music, to singing, to dancing. We sang in the church choir together at the Lutheran church. We did things together as a family. And those values are deep in me. She instilled me with a lot of the kindness that she had for neighbors and people who were in need. Hence, the wanting to do more for other people. But there were times in my life when I did not feel heard, when I did not feel acknowledged. when I felt like she wasn't listening to me. When I would say something, she wasn't listening to me. And she was already commenting on something else, and we didn't even get to talk about what I wanted to hear. So I realized that as a child, and as many people do as children, we start doing things to please people to get that appreciation. We start modifying our behavior from our authentic selves to be somebody that is liked and appreciated. So what happens is, when we're young, we learn to play the game. We learn to give people what we know they're asking for, right? What we know they want to hear, without maybe it actually being the true self of us. And so I want to say that when we're not our authentic selves, we're not true to who we came here to be. So to truly live as Myrtle suggests, by showing up as we claim our own divinity and we move forward in that power, meaning that it doesn't matter what anyone says to you or about you, or what anyone does to you, right? Because no one can take your perfection away. No one, unless you give your power away, no one can take that from you. You are God in expression. You came here to do a mighty work with the love that you are. So in Scripture today, we interpret the Bible metaphysically. So we're in Isaiah today, chapter 66. One simple verse, verse 13. As a mother comforts her child, so I will comfort you. You shall be comforted in Jerusalem. So to me, that is the reassurance that we will always have the comfort that we need. And honestly, Jerusalem, metaphysically, means habitation of peace. Isn't that our goal, to be living in a habitation of peace? And so we can feel that comfort of God by knowing who we are. If we didn't have a mom or someone like that to do that for us, to comfort us, maybe that person wasn't capable. If we don't understand the love of God is within us, then we will seek it outside of ourselves. We'll seek it everywhere else, instead of realizing that we are the presence and the power of God. And I think it's very comforting to know that we just have to be still and go within and know the truth of our being and who we are. And that's where our strength and our power lies. It's right there within, knowing the truth of who we are. That's why I think it's so important to know a little about New Thought, to know about unity in general, because we have these practical tools to help people to live their lives and to be able to cope with the things that come to and through you in your lifetime. When we think about expressions of maternal and motherly love, the qualities that come to me are patience, forgiveness, compassion. Those are the ones that come to my mind. And whether it's a source from motherly figures or even from Mother Earth, maternal love is a divine reflection of God's love that's in us, as us, and through us. It's a reflection of who we already are, because we're all part of the one. We may feel separate sometimes, we forget. We forget that we have this mighty, mighty connection with the one mind, the one heart. We forget that. But we're not, so we need to acknowledge that we're here to take care of each other. That's why we're here. It truly takes a village, doesn't it? Especially in some of the times that we have been through these last several years. And even if we're busy with our own children or our grandchildren, and we may be feeling like we're in survival mode sometimes, we can still practice maternal love for other people. We let it ground us and center us in knowing that it doesn't take grand acts of service. It doesn't take a lot of sacrifice. It can be very simple, like a listening ear, a kind compliment. Just reaching out to someone. You get someone's idea, someone's picture comes in your mind or you think of them, you pick up the phone, you call them, you check in, just letting someone know that we care. Every single act of kindness makes the world a better place, because really it's all about balance. Some people have a hard time balancing, taking care of everything that they're responsible for, especially those with little babies and little children in their families. We have one family that has like 6 children. That's a lot to be responsible for, and it can feel challenging. But even if people don't have children, they have responsibilities to their partners, to their spouse, to their caregiving relatives, perhaps out of state, out of town. They have their fur babies. They have the place in which they live. They have their yards. They have their gardens. They have things that they are responsible for. And so what it all comes down to is, how are we balancing all of that? How is it that we are taking time for our own self-care? What are we doing to make sure that during this time we are grounded and centered in the knowingness of who we are? We can't take care of other people when our well is dry. We have to fill ourselves up. We have to do things for ourselves, take time for ourselves, because it is essential that their well-being can't happen if you're not able to be a part of their life, right? So we have to grab moments, and I know sometimes it seems like we're so busy, but we have to grab those moments and latch onto them and have some silence and do some prayer, read your daily word, practice meditation, even if it's 5 minutes at a time. You can do it during your busy day, just filling our wells. We're not here to be martyrs. I'm just here to tell you. We are not here to be martyrs. We are here to be the love of God. A long time ago, Chris Chenoweth was telling this story in one of his newsletters recently. He was telling the story about this woman who went to see the minister because she was incredibly distressed. Something had happened in her life that was going to mean that her nephew was going to have to come live with her. And she was freaking out. She went to the minister and she said, "You know me, you know who I am, you know I've never lived with anybody, you know I've never had anything to do with any children ever, you know I'm a harsh personality. How on earth am I ever going to give love? How do I even know how to love this child?" And the minister said to her, "You have God's love inside of you. If you consent to that God love coming through you, it will come straight through. It is the love of God that will equip you to love this child. If you allow yourself this privilege, it will happen." Well, she just continued to insist that she was not created in this capacity. This was not going to be hers to do, but honestly, she didn't have any choice, right? So the minister said, "Just allow it and let it in, and you will see." Well, now, 20 years have gone by. The nephew's grown, and she grew while he was living with her. She ended up being a wonderful motherly figure to her nephew. They had a beautiful life together, not because she became something, it was because she allowed something to become her. Do you see the difference? She allowed the love of God to be what led her through those challenging times. We are already beloved children of God. We just have to allow that divine feminine nature to come through us. We have to allow it to be there. Because we're Christians, we talk a lot about Jesus. And, you know, we don't talk that much about his mother, Mary, and the important role that she played in his life and in his ministry. But she believed in him and she supported him, especially when he was unsure in the early days of creating these miracles that he created. She was right there to support him. The very best thing she taught was love by example. She loved him unconditionally. And you know, he had that miraculous conception. We've all heard that story about how Jesus was born of a miraculous conception. I like that doctrine because I believe there is a miraculous conception that is born many times in each and every one of us, whether we are male or female. Think about those times when you're at the end of your rope and you think nothing is gonna pan out from this, right? And then you have a miraculous conception, some divine idea, something happens, somebody says something, it's a bumper sticker, it's a song on the radio, who knows how it comes, somebody says something to you, but you are divinely guided and you've had a miraculous conception. A lot of this happens with healing. People have instantaneous healing episodes because they're having miraculous conceptions. Don't you love that idea? And I think it's happening to us all the time. All the time. In our bodies, in our minds, in our lives. What's your legacy? Don't we all want to leave a legacy of love? My greatest legacy is that I got to birth my son Matt and watch him grow into this amazing, amazing man. And now watch him grow his beautiful daughters with Angel. I can't think of a greater privilege than to be able to have that kind of a bond, that kind of experience. Maternal love is eternal. It doesn't matter if our children are still here or they've made their transition. They are still a part of us. That love never ends. That love is eternal. We are meant to celebrate life according to Jesus Christ. The ultimate way is to love all, realizing that we're one with each other. Otherwise, we're doing a great disservice to ourselves and to others. All right. It's time for a little joke. Enough preaching. There's this little girl, and she's standing at the kitchen sink watching her mom do the dishes. And she looks up and she notices that there's a couple of white hairs sort of sticking out of her beautiful brunette hair. And she says, "Mommy, why do you have white hairs?" And her mom thinks about it for a minute. She said, "Well, you know, all those times when you were not good, when you did things wrong, you made me cry or you upset me, I got a gray hair. I got one of those white hairs." And the little girl thought about it for a minute and she said, "Mommy, how come all of Grandma's hair is white?" Right? I want to close today with Byron Katie. I need your love, is that true? Love wouldn't deny a breath. It wouldn't deny a grain of sand or a speck of dust. It is totally in love with itself. And it delights in acknowledging itself through its own presence in every way without limit. It embraces it all, everything from the murderer and the rapist to the saint to the dog to the cat. Love is so vast within itself that it will burn you up. It's so vast that there's nothing you can do with it, you see. All you can do is be it. And that's the way it truly is. Thank you so much. God bless. Now is the time when we get to share from our good back into this beautiful ministry. So I invite you to take your sharing in your hand as we say our blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive Thank you, God, that this is so. Thank you so much.